Hi, I'm Greg Gavaziak.
And I'm Luke Phillips.
And this is the Semi Crazy Podcast, the podcast by truckers for truckers.
Recording?
Recording, part 2.
Very good. Part 2. Now that we're inside.
Yeah.
After the rain that didn't happen.
Yeah. The Great Panic. And then...
The Great Panic of holy shit, moisture.
Yeah, moisture is the enemy of computers.
It is. Yep.
And electrical stuff.
Anything in general, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about now.
That doesn't really matter. You can find a new topic.
Yeah. I'm going to close this door a bit.
Just a little bit, or?
Just a little bit. That's really healthy.
Door needs some grease.
Yeah. Maintenance.
Yeah. Too busy maintaining other things.
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance is like even with a new truck, like still got to do the stuff that I'm doing every weekend, pretty much.
You
grease and wash.
Yeah, I can grease like on the road. Usually try to get it done during the week.
Yeah, and that don't work for me. That is not in the schedule.
No. Yeah, E-log requires that a person stops.
Yes.
We'll just say that.
Good call.
Yeah, but
well,
I mean,
the shift that I run just doesn't stop before midnight.
Yeah.
So.
But I saw a guy had a little creeper. I think I told you that.
Oh yeah, like a little fold one?
Yeah, well, it wasn't even folding, but it was like 2.5 feet long and had big wheels on it.
Oh.
So you could roll it on gravel. Basically, you put your lower back on it.
Yeah, and scooch
around. But yeah, big wheels.
Yeah, that would be the ticket.
Especially for, you're doing it in a gravel driveway or you're...
Well, like I guess I did grease on the road this week.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enjoyable.
No,
like I don't see pavement very much.
Yeah, it's not fun when you have to roll around in the dirt. And
yeah,
that's what I like. Yeah, throw my coveys on, go underneath there. A lot of my drivelines greaseless.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's like the one thing I make a point of greasing every week. My brakes can go a week or two, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But kingpins and like front end and driveline.
Yeah. No, I like to do the front end and then
But I'll do the front end while I'm fueling up. Right? Jockey box is open anyway. Whip out the electric grease gun. Grease the driver's side while you fuel the driver's side and move over and grease the other side.
Yeah.
Guys look at me like I got two heads lots of times, but
my truck I wish I had the on my Kenworth I had the remote grease lines for the clutch. You
don't have that on your truck?
No, I have the lines that drop down.
That would suck.
So you still have to go underneath to grease it.
Yeah, because I don't even think I've ever seen a truck without the remote on it.
Oh, there's lots.
Probably a Western Star thing.
No.
Really?
No, I had Kenworths from BC that didn't have it.
Huh. Yeah, every truck I've drove has it. Or had it, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a newer thing too.
Huh. Can't be that new. My truck's 05.
It's still pretty new compared to stuff I've driven.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, my first truck was an 86.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That truck most definitely had no remote anything.
Yeah, and to be fair, the stuff that I did drive that was old was company stuff that I didn't have to do anything to, so.
Well, I didn't. When I was driving the General, I never had to grease it. But before I drove the General, when I was a kid,
you had to grease it.
I used to grease trucks.
Yeah,
it was kind of a job. Well, for a while that was my job. I greased trucks on Saturdays.
Yep.
Yeah, grease, do oil changes.
Yeah, I was always the wash kid.
Oh no, I did wash kid too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, my dad greased and I washed.
Oh, I got my kids greasing young when I had all my trucks. Like
yeah,
and I'd pay them like I don't remember what I paid them. I think $20 a truck.
More than I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. My dad would be like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if there was a missed grease nipple, no $20.
Let's see, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, which then, if you go over it and you look and you're like, yeah, sorry, Missed one? Which one?
Then go find it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, it was kind of funny because it'd always be oversized. And I actually bought him a little, he had a little pair of Carhartts. I didn't even know they made them that little. It was pretty cool. So, yeah, he was
Right
pretty
on.
happy to wear his little Carhartt overalls and
Ah.
had his electric grease gun. And because, I mean, when I started greasing, there was no electric grease guns.
No, like I did grease for my dad, and yeah, no, there's never an electric.
Grip strength.
I
sometimes.
had the big handle, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, grease. And
I was always greasing trailers because the truck would get greased on pavement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's all the first mechanical stuff I always did was trailer stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do bearings, brakes.
Yeah, trailer stuff.
And that's, you know, it's a shitty thing for mechanics who are apprenticing.
Yeah, that's where you start.
Yeah, you start with trailer mechanics. And a lot of, actually anymore, a lot of the work on trucks, like if you've got a fleet that has mostly new trucks,
it's all trailers.
Yeah, you're not doing engine work or anything like that, right? So, yeah, my brother-in-law had when he would hire mechanics, he would hire, you know, first year, second year guys most of the time. And then when they got to third year, recommend that they go elsewhere.
To further themselves.
Yeah. So, you know, or like, you know, keep the odd guys stayed around, right? But, you know, like, not everybody was going to get to do the more in-depth jobs, right? So,
but logging, you got lots of trailer work.
Yeah, well, and bush, you know, and even chip trailers, right? Like chip trailers, you got, you know, they're all Super Bs, and yeah, so no, I always thought it was a smart thing. Like, why go hire, you know, because you'll see places they're hiring journeyman mechanics.
Yeah, and their rate ain't, you know.
Yeah, and they don't stay long. Weird, because they're doing trailer mechanics.
Yeah, they're a journeyman. They want to work on trucks.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. I guess it's got to be a lot different now to be a mechanic than it used to be. Like, I mean, because you're not doing, unless you work, you know, for Cummins or you work at the dealership, you're not doing in-frames anymore.
Or you work at a smaller good shop, like the ones that I go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like anybody new, they don't get that experience. But now there might not be some truth to that, because how many Cummins needed an in-frame at $200,000 in the last 5-6 years, right?
But most of them went to Cummins or a dealership.
Yeah, that's right.
Because not a lot of small shops are doing Cummins in-frames.
Yeah. Why would you want to?
Well, and also
they're all under warranty.
Yeah, you want to get it done under warranty if you're going to get one done. I mean, you know, you get an older truck and that where you want to maybe spend a little less than going to like a platinum in-frame at Cat, even you'll get someone else. I don't even know if the platinum kit and everything comes with the warranty it used to, because it used to be like a damn good deal.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I haven't priced it out in a long time because I don't have any Cats. But
maybe if you went right to finning.
Yeah, because there was lots of places that were doing platinum kits. And then, and it came with the warranty when you bought the kit. And if you were a licensed Cat warranty dealer, right? Like, so there was
that
one
would be
and there
ticket.
was one in Whitecourt. There was a few places. So.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that when the time comes.
Yeah, because I mean, if you've actually got Cat warranty, not just like a lot of aftermarket warranties are not worth the paper they're written on.
No, they're not at all.
Yeah, that's why like selling used trucks, I would always get like the guy saying, "Well, can you sell me warranty?" No, I won't. And they would wonder why you wouldn't want to sell warranty. It's like, well, because I don't want you coming back to me when this warranty company says, "Oh yeah, well you didn't do X, Y, and Z because it wasn't in the
clause or whatever."
Yeah, you didn't read your whole thing. You had to do your maintenance and send your maintenance papers to us at the warranty place to make sure that you did this. Otherwise, you don't get the warranty. And then, yeah, so I'm not going to name names on warranties, but there's a lot of aftermarket warranties that are just really kind of a scam.
Well, it's buyer beware, like anything else, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you know, if it's protected by Cummins, Cat, like that. Yeah, they've all had their issues, but I mean, they are a reputable company.
Yeah,
that does have to stand up to some certain standards.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is the warranty stuff, right? Like, I think I just rolled over 100,000 on this trans that's in my truck, and a month or two now, it went out of adjustment. Like just all of a sudden I had no clutch brake. And for a guy, like I just kind of slide it into gear on my way to a stop and just so you're not using up the clutch brake, right? Because anybody that's seen a clutch brake knows that there's not much there. And yeah, it was like, I was wondering when I went back to that driveline shop, is this going to cost me or are you guys doing it or what?
Yeah.
But they were like, well, whatever. It's warranty. Got me in right away and stuff. So that's good.
No, you want to work with reputable shops.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can't not. Like if it's your own money, you've got to have that peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's like my injectors I put in got a 2-year warranty on them. So that's the ticket.
Yeah, you gotta like say you have to have that. You gotta have that peace of mind. I can't stomach the going to do a repair and cheaping out on it. You know what I mean? Like you think, well, it's cheaper to just go do this and have my buddy throw it in.
Yeah, but I even myself, I steer away from that. Like I need a pro heat system, like engine and bunk. And yeah, there's been one in my truck before, so everything's all plumbed and all ran and stuff. So, lots of guys will say, oh, just do it yourself. You're being lazy by not. But it comes back to, if my truck burns up because something's not right, at least I've got a leg to stand on with a lawyer about, okay, so-and-so, whatever place, Kenworth, for example, was professionally put in, and now it burnt my truck down.
Yeah, so insurance will cover you.
Yeah.
And if it was like, Luke Special, and you maybe didn't crimp a wire or what, they could, and I mean, it might not even be that, but you just don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You went red to black by accident or whatever, right?
Well, it's so, like, liability is everything now, right? Like,
oh yeah, it all comes down to like CYA, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the name of the game.
10-4. Oh yeah, Red Man
is delicious. I'm just, if anybody's wondering why the silence, just got to give it a moment of silence for some good product.
Oh yeah, There's some stuff like, and I mean, I didn't do it for a long time and just do it here and there, like.
Not a bad influence. That's why.
There you are. Yeah.
Yeah. You are. See, because every time you come over, you end up chewing.
Have a dip here or there.
Yeah. It's just so damn tasty.
Yeah. I'm happy to say I can take or leave most things, which is, I'm lucky that I don't like have it now and then go, oh, well, gotta have a poach.
See, and I'm weird that way. Like, I quit for a year, but I still had a tin in my pocket all the time. It was unopened that whole year, but it was just having it there, so if I wanted it, it was there.
It's like your security blanket?
Yeah, exactly. Never opened it, though. And I fell off the wagon pretty hard when I started running south.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a really stressful trip. Oh, look, it's $2 a tin.
I
can't afford not to at those prices.
Well, you almost feel that way, right?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
I didn't do it. I've had times where I quit for 4 years, never touched it, and then get back, do a little bit here, and then, then kind of quit again, and then, lately it's just been, pop out here, have a dip. Or when I was doing sales at Mac, I'd have like the odd day where I would just like, I get kind of stressed. I'd go back and one of the boys in the shop in Red Deer, Tippy, always had it, and it would just be like, it'd be like Ricky on Trailer Park Boys, and he'd be like, come on, boys, smokes.
Yeah,
smokes.
Shoot, let's go.
Yeah, I'd be like, Tippy, give me a dip. Come on.
Yeah.
He'd walk over his toolbox, give me a little dip. I'd stand back in the shop, just walk around, shoot the shit with the guys for a bit in the shop.
Reconnect with non-salesman life.
Yeah, exactly. And then just kind of lip out and then go back to my desk, and I'd be
you're
cool
good
again.
Yeah, you're good.
Then wouldn't touch it again for like week and a half. Then it'd be like,
yeah. I'm either going home or somebody gives me some chew. One of the two. Yeah. I worked with a guy that it was like that. Because I had quit at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, Alan, chew, let's go. And then it was like, okay, we've both gone through a tin in a day. You should just buy your own. Okay, fine.
I was just thinking back to that when I first started doing sales, and I really liked the environment in Red Deer, like
Yeah.
because it was a smaller part of the dealership, and like I haven't talked much about my salesman stuff on here, but like I mean, it was just having that kind of a small town. Like I know Red Deer's not a small town, but I mean it was like a small dealership environment. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah,
Definitely feel better.
yeah, and then you could. I mean, I spent a lot of time traveling around, like central Alberta, and I enjoyed that too. But like you know, you could come back to home base there, and it was like it was quiet, and everybody knew everybody, and you could go into the shop, and all those guys have been there a while, and I haven't been in there. I should stop by and kind of visit and see who's still around, but
yeah, I imagine it's changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it was a good place to start it. And then when I moved back to Edmonton to do sales in Edmonton, it was a totally different gig because you know that's the bigger dealership. And then you had sales managers in house and all the brass is in house. Everybody's it's
you got the glass tower.
It is, yeah. It's kind of like that. So and as we know from this, my voice carries. So I mean, you always kind of feel like you're a little under the microscope as to everything you're saying and doing. And
yeah, you're bound to get in shit for something eventually.
Yeah, exactly. No, whatever.
Right? Oh well, what do you do? Backtracking now.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who hears what because it'll just be yourself.
Yeah, got my. I'm happy. I got my two-way radio squared away.
Finally.
Yeah.
So now people will stop messaging me being like, "Oh, Greg's not on the radio."
Yeah. So no, I do have a big radio now. I switched the power leads. There's two different power leads up in the headliner of that Star.
Okay.
And one of them is wired to somehow cut out when the mic keys, so it cuts the stereo. That's what was fucking it up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it just the way it was wired, somehow it would just like it would backfeed and it would just do this awful shit. So I switched those leads around and changed it up, and now it's good. I don't have a lot of range, so I think because it's
not
factory antenna.
No, that could be.
And so I think it might be just like a CD coax.
Yeah.
So
that's why I don't have a big radio in my truck yet, is because it's not something I'm going to do myself.
No.
Take it to those guys in Leduc or whatever, right? And here you go. As I look on the shelf, and I've got 3 of them sitting there.
Yeah, you do.
Right? Just stuff that a guy collects.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Well, I wanted to find my radio from my Kenworth because it had good power. It had 400 and some channels. I had this one, which I can't even remember where it came out of. It's not a bad radio. It's a Vertex, and I like it.
One of my favorite radios out of the 3 or 4 that's sitting up there is a Vertex.
Yeah, I liked my Vertex. I got a Kenwood right now. It's all right, but and then Dad was just he's got an overland rig. It's I think it's a 2000 F250 7.3. So it's 7.3 Power Stroke, extended cab, short box with camper on it, and then he's got solar panels and all this kind of shit.
Like set up.
Oh yeah, it's set up. It's kind of a bug out vehicle, right? Tiny little lift on it, and it's also 6-speed manual. So it's actually not a lot of those around.
No, Ford was not popular with their 6-speed manuals.
Yeah.
And you said it was 2000?
Yeah. So
yeah, the only other 6-speed that I've ever seen in a Power Stroke was a 95.
Oh,
95 or 96.
Oh, yeah.
And it was imported.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a States truck.
I knew I had a couple friends that had them, but yeah.
See, but that being said, I was never in the Ford group.
No,
all my friends drive Dodges.
It doesn't, it's okay. We can drive different things.
Yeah, I just like the Cummins. The little Cummins is damn decent.
Oh yeah, no, they're good. They're a good engine, and that's honestly the 7.3 was the Ford that was
decent.
Just stone reliable, and actually what really screwed Ford. I mean, we're talking small trucks, but still, I mean, there's guys out there that hot shot and do whatever, and everybody has a fucking pickup.
Yeah.
But if Ford hadn't built that stupid 6-liter,
the whole 6-liter,
yeah, because then even when they built the 6.4, their reputation wasn't
garbage, and even look at the 6.4 problems they had, right?
But the 6.4 like actually ended up being not a terrible engine
towards the end, yeah.
But just kind of like the 6-liter really, you didn't hear good 6.4 stories because you had all you heard was the bad stories because of
the 6-liter, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got, I know a guy that I used to work with that is a diehard, like that's all he buys, is 6-liters, and then just head studs them and bulletproofs them. And he's like, oh, once you bulletproof them, they're good motors. Same argument with him every time. It was like, well, I drive my 5.9 and I don't have to do anything to it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't get it.
No. And that's just like,
it's like buying a 2012 ISX and then immediately having to delete it.
Yeah.
Right? At what point are you like, okay, they didn't do good on this, so what else didn't they do good on?
Yeah. You delete it, and then you get rid of the VGT, and you do this.
And you got to put a new cam in it because you got rid of the VGT, and yeah.
No.
I drove a lot of ISXs because that's what was popular in the time that I was driving company trucks. And yeah, they're great motors as long as you're not paying for the in-frame that it needs at $300,000.
Oh, need it though.
I never drove one that didn't. Last one I drove got a crate motor after I drove it.
What are you saying about you then?
Yeah, it might not. I mean, there's definitely a correlation there between me and that, but it's also the work that we were doing with them.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, no, 300,000 of pulling a 19 axle is a lot different than 300,000 of 5 axle down the highway.
Yeah, 100%, right?
But I do know that those motors did like to be worked more, and they did like RPM more.
Oh yeah.
And if you put them in as far as the emissions go, like the emissions don't work worth a shit if they're idling along down the highway.
Yeah, no, terrible. You got to keep them hot.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line between where they're happy and where they're too hot.
Yeah.
And I've seen 250, 260 on a coolant gauge on a Cummins.
Yeah.
Granted, it needed work later on, but it wasn't immediate.
No.
You see that high on a Cat, and it's like, we're towing it home.
Yeah.
That's enough. Yeah. But you can look at the oil temperature. I had somebody message me this week that was like, driving an X15, all the emissions and everything intact, and she was concerned about how high the oil temperature was. And I was like, well, is it in the red? She's like, no, it's like rated like 249. It's fine. It'll sit there all day. Because you look at like the combustion temperature because of that DEF and EGR system, it's going to be hot.
Yeah. No, and honestly, the Detroit's not much different. Like they run the oil temp. I shouldn't say that. My oil temp never runs that high. But my coolant temp,
I've seen oil temp on an ISX at 280, 290.
Yeah. Mine all used to run right around the 240 mark.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I honestly had my 16, it had one issue, then it got deleted. And then it ran like top. But before it got deleted, I like had it dynoed and everything. The numbers on it were ridiculous, but it ran good. Like it pulled way better than a 550 ever should have. And everybody was always like, "Oh, that truck's on a 550." It pulled good.
Yeah.
And then
that's like my orange tri-drive that I ran was a 550.
Yeah.
But worked the bag off of 550.
Yeah.
I remember it was still emissions intact, and it was starting to get gutless. And then they put me in front of a 390 hoe into Tech Cardinal River, south of Hinton.
Yeah.
Plus 35 day, no push truck. That truck got so hot, everything was hot.
Yeah.
But literally felt the change. Like pulled that 390 in, unloaded it, put another 390 on, and went back. Put the dead one on and went back, and it was noticeable. Whatever it liked being that hot, I guess.
It just had to heat up to
I put over 200,000 on that truck, and I never did a regen. Never did a parked regen.
Yeah.
Because it was always working.
Yeah.
And the big thing with those two is to keep them hot when they're idling, like in the winter.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked about this before. Goes winter front up and like 16, as high as that the cruise would take the RPM is where I'd run it at night.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I always had the engine heater on mine, so I never ever ran it at night. But that the one truck I had, that 09 that I had, which no DEF but DPF, and then that one ran like it just never it. I owned it. It never needed an imprint the whole time I owned it, and then
that's not bad.
And then when I sold it, it went to a guy, and I ran into his kid a year later, and it had 20-some thousand hours on it. Like when I sold it, I was like running to the bank with the draft.
Yeah,
because I was sure it was going to blow up tomorrow, because it hadn't, and all I'd ever done was like turbo actuator.
Yeah, which is normal.
Yeah, like everything that I'd done to it was just like small, and so yeah, I run into it a year later, and I'm thinking, oh geez, I see him at the pumps, like kind of hanging my head, like. And then I went over and said, oh hey, yeah, that's my old truck, and he told me it'd just been a great truck. They hadn't done anything to it, and so it's still good. But that truck had 430s in the back end,
so it was high all the time.
And before I owned it, it was Grand Cash truck. So it hauled equipment and logs and
in the hills
and dumped up in like basically so it was up on the FTR and up around like there all the time. And then when I got it, it hauled logs and hauled mats. It never had anything less than
it didn't have an easy life.
No, until like for a little while I pulled live floor with it hauling sawdust. That was the easiest it ever worked, and I don't know, maybe by then it was just broke in enough, but I never really had I never had a park regen there, but it definitely regen going down the road a lot more.
Yeah.
Running that light.
Yeah, and I can't even remember how often mine did it going down the road, to be honest.
Well, if you're working all the time, the fan's running all the time, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just click it on.
Yeah.
That's what I did most of the time.
Just run with the fan on.
And I even like pulling Super Bs now. It's just force of habit even. Like I coming down on the downstroke to a big hill, I reach over and flip it on just out of habit.
Yeah.
Don't need to, but whatever.
That was always something that bothered me, that I couldn't. It was hard to order an on-off fan at the end of when I was at Mac.
That would bug you. That would bug me. A truck without it is not.
Well, they want you to.
That's
really,
not right. That's not right.
Yeah, like and a lot of the companies, they want to have that viscous coupling automatic fan that has no switch, and so I would always order the Kaiser on-off with the switch, and it was always something that had to go through, like they have like this sales engineering thing, and so if you have something that's out of the ordinary, you put in a request for it basically, and then before they approve you ordering the truck, they look at it and say, hey, it's good or it isn't. But it would always come back, is they'd be like, oh yeah, no problem, but it had to go through them.
Yeah, because if they said no, and you as a salesman's like, well, this is what the customer wants, right? How's that going to work?
But there's lots of stuff like that. Like, I mean, and I know that they're not the only manufacturers. This is the one that I have experience with. But I've talked to lots of other salesmen. They're like, oh, geez, the hoops we have to jump through to get Alberta spec or Canadian spec trucks is ridiculous. And it is true, because what we do up here is just so much different.
Oh, yeah, 100% different. Yeah, everything's different.
Yeah. Like, I mean, a heavy haul truck in the south, like super heavy haul, like what you were doing, like hauling, super loads and shit.
Yeah.
In the States, those, oh yeah, I hate the name too, because some stuff is not super.
No.
So not super.
So not super. I remember sitting in Tumbler Ridge for a week and a half for a super load permit. And then they sent me home and called me back 2 days later at 6 p.m. to be in Tumbler Ridge for 2 a.m, because that's when the bridge engineer was going to be there. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just remembered that.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, and I was just going to say, like, so like down there, I mean, day cabs.
Yeah,
Like
look at Perkins.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and vocation. If you have a vocational truck, what would be considered a vocational spec, logger, tanker, all that stuff, day cab.
Yep. And like winch trucks, heavy haul trucks down there are not winch trucks.
No.
I remember so many times guys would come up to me and be like, why you got that on the back of your truck? And then you got to explain that to them.
Yeah.
But I can see it. Like, I was running into problems all the time being too heavy on my truck. And there was even talk of like taking the drum off and the tank out of my winch rig up, because we were like 6,000 pounds on the drive over consistently.
Yeah.
Which you would gain by taking your winch, like taking your drum and your tank off, you'd gain. I remember we were sitting in a scale in Montana firing all my rigging off into a pilot truck. Like, everything that wasn't on the load comes off the truck. Tire chains, everything.
Just trying to get it.
I'm an over-prepared guy, so I carried, on a tri-drive, I carried 5 sets of triples. Because you never know when you're going to blow it up, and you never know when your push truck's going to need one because it didn't show up with chains.
Yeah.
Which sounds really silly, but it happened.
Well, even me, like, I'm the same. Like, I like to over prep for some stuff, and yeah, last winter running the Coke, I had 2 sets of singles and a set of triples, even though I was just pulling Tridem.
Yeah.
You know, and some guys, you get the chain up lights to be on, and they'd have their one set of cheapo singles.
Yeah, or their cables.
Or their socks, or, you know, whatever they're trying to run, you know, and yeah, and so when it was really, really crappy out, like, I mean, you're not getting up and over that hill with a set of singles.
No.
And yeah, Tridem, I don't need all that stuff, but hey, there was one time it was just pure ice. It was disgusting out, and they probably should have shut it down, but they didn't. I threw a set of triples, set of singles. We went.
Bozeman Pass.
Oh, yeah.
Last winter, the winter before. Anyway, we were down there, and it was my first stateside trip in the winter, and I was pulling a 10 axle with a pump on it. So we got there, and I don't know if you've ever been through there, but their chain up areas aren't really chain up areas. But luckily, the wife was driving pilot truck, so we pull out and went and did the run, and I didn't think anything of it. All right, I'm gonna drop the Jeep. I got a C5 with planets on.
Yeah.
I'll throw 2 sets up and over we go. I'll come back for the Jeep. And when I was pulling back in, everybody was looking at me like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "What? Up and over, boys! Like, let's get her done." And then I found out how not proper that was down there. Like, that is not. Should have just parked. But if I parked, I would have been there like 2 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's no fun.
No, and
I'm pretty sure that was in Bozeman. I don't know. Snowstorms and mountains. I know that was involved.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of the attitude here, is you just, okay, we'll figure it out. Like,
Yeah, just get her done.
Yeah.
But even you go over to Saskatchewan, and then guys have harassed me why I don't carry tire chains. But you put tire chains on a grid road in Saskatchewan, you get caught. That is a major, major fine. They don't like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, just don't put them on in Saskatchewan. If you need tire chain,
Ontario's the same way.
Yeah, and
no tire chains on the highway there.
Yeah, I don't think you'd get away with it in Saskatchewan either. And I like it, honestly. I like.
You mean you don't like chaining up? Who doesn't like chaining up?
I don't mind chaining up. I just don't feel that if you need to chain up to go down the highway, maybe you should just
park it.
Yeah, just stay in the truck stop.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Yep.
I did have once last winter where I on the same thing on the Coke. I came over to the Smasher, pulled into the chain off area, looked at the road, looked at the guys taking their chains off.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave these on.
Snugged them up.
Yeah.
Drove another 10 miles, and totally glad that I did, because everybody that had taken their chains off pretty well was sliding off the road or stopping because they were.
And then now you got to chain back up.
Yeah.
And that's how you get hit.
Yeah.
Dead. Don't get me wrong, like in the bush and stuff, I love chain up and augering. Oh, that's so much fun. Planet tractor, just let her eat. That's what I miss about heavy haul. And it wasn't my truck, so it didn't matter as much. That you want her in there, all right, I'll get it in there. But if you got to haul me back, this is on you.
Yeah. Yeah, and when there's trenches because I had to do this.
Oh, trenches.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember one time up on the Simonette, I think I've told you this story
Yeah.
before. Yeah. Like right through the front office lawn with a bed.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted it in here, and he needs to dug me that away, so.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I didn't have to do that often, and so and most of the time wouldn't. But yeah, like it was like.
And that was the weird thing for me, like, because I got into that industry so young,
Yeah.
that was normal.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean you're going to park and not go down, the Simonette or...
Oh, like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't worry about that, but we never had anything that was that, like, terrible heavy where, so if I throw on 2 sets, and if I, like, say, if I had a 330 on, well, you throw 2 sets on, and then you, like, say, take your aluminum rims and back that 330 up so you got some real weight up over the neck.
Get her up there.
Yeah. You're not augering anything. You just slow right down, put it in the gear that's going to go over the hill in, and lock everything up. You're going to climb it.
Yeah.
There's really not much with 2 sets of chains and 32,000 on your drives that you're not going up.
Yeah, exactly. And there was lots of times where I was 40, 50 on my drives, and it's like, okay, we need assistance. Give me some more. But I remember there was even times when, before Mac was really booming and they were doing all the expansions and building stuff, where we'd get a snow support machines. Yes. Technical difficulty break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know I was talking just about using the tow tractor all the time.
Yeah, even like when I got into the oil field, there wasn't tow tractors. It was always bed trucks.
Yeah.
And then...
Or a cat.
Yeah, or a cat. And then tow tractors became a thing, and they're friggin' slick. They're a good damn idea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, and having that rope, same thing. You hook on, the rope stretches up, and as the trucker in the back, it's put it in a gear.
Pick it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and leave it alone.
Leave it there.
Yeah.
Don't catch up to the tractor. Don't lose the tractor.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you weren't on a rope, that was always the problem with the cat. You start catching the cat, then the cat pulls.
Yeah.
Then you catch it.
And you start getting the rocking motion and banging and yeah.
Yeah. Then you pull off the front bumper of the truck that was just a highway truck or whatever.
Yeah, and see, my experience, that was never the weak point. It was always the winch line.
Well, yeah, when you've got a
C5,
truck,
yeah.
Yeah, you're not pulling the bumper off of a...
And that's such another weird thing about going to what I'm doing now from before. Like, whatever, there's a ditch. I know I've got 4 or 5 feet of ground clearance. And even if I don't, the stuff that's going to scrape the ground don't matter.
Yeah.
Now, I pull into farmers' fields, gentle.
Yeah.
Gentle. Yeah.
Oh, it is. It is just different. It's like, Marlon and I were talking the other night. And he's like, I don't think I could do what you guys do off road. He's like, because you're not nice to a truck, and it's true. Like, if you come from that side of it, it just seems normal. But when you think about like even going down a hill to hit a bridge, so you can run the other side of and then right before the bridge is a 4-inch drop that you hit.
Yeah,
and it like.
See, and I never got that. Like, I was never able to do that hauling equipment and stuff because the stuff that I hauled, you hit that 4-inch, now you're going to have your wheeler's going to start bouncing, and yeah, you've got a bunch of momentum, but now all of a sudden you get a bounce in the right spot and it lightens up your drives, and now you're spun out anyway. I learned that one the hard way. But that's one of the things I enjoy about not being in the oil field anymore.
That you don't have to beat on a truck.
Yeah, well, right. But I get on a grid road, which is equivalent to a lot of lease roads out here. And it's guys are doing, if you're doing under 60, guys are pissed. And out there, it's like, yeah, 35, because that's where my cruise kicks on. Hang out. People can pass me, whatever.
Take it easy.
Yeah, and it's hard to wrap my head around that change, right?
Yeah.
But now I don't know if I'd want to go back.
No, I'm kind of the same way. I remember going down the ACC Road when I first started logging and had no tack card in because we were hauling for a different mill, so they couldn't take our tack cards, and so we were there on the weekend, and I was like, it's time to go home.
Yep.
And so I was cranking it up a little bit. And they didn't have road cops on the ANC road then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was no real speed limit, but it was 80 was what it was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
So I wheeled her up to, around 100 with a load of logs on, winter load too.
Oh yeah, you're moving then.
Yeah, and you kind of get going, and you're like, I'm pretty solid. I'd probably do a little bit more. So I wheeled her up, and we were on a long straight stretch at the far end of the ANC, where it's really, I'd say, long and straight, right? I'm up around buck 15, buck 20.
Oof.
Yeah, and just cruising because there's really nobody out there. It's Saturday night, right? And I hit a frost heave.
Oh.
And it was a little bit cockeyed. And that whole load started fucking rocking and rolling.
Yeah, side to side. Ooh.
Side to side and up and down all at once at buck 20. So yeah, just lift. Don't let the jakes come on.
Yeah,
when it all kind of stopped that, I went right back down to 80.
Yeah. All right, learned my lesson. Good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good way to spill and play pickup sticks.
Yeah, I had a 777 on a rail 48 one winter coming down from Fort McMurray. And yeah, we were trying to push daylight, right? So usually it was 80, 85.
Yeah.
But I had her up 95. We were moving on her.
Yeah.
And pilot up front said, "Oh, frost heave," and I was there, right, before I could really do anything. And that thing started bouncing, and it's like, okay, it's fine. And then I started seeing little puffs of smoke, and my operator's like, "Okay, rock truck tires are hitting the ground." It's like, "Oh, don't, James, please don't break, and just grab the spike.
Yeah,
snap everything back straight, right?" Because that was my trick with wheelers all the time, was give it a good 20, 25 PSI application on the spike and keep your foot buried into it. It'll snap straight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As long as your operator's paying attention. I had one time that I did that. Didn't really let him know first.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Whoa!" And I see him pop out around the load. It's like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, we're slowing down." Because you stare at the back of a trailer for, 4 or 5 hours and nothing happens.
I couldn't do that job.
My time operating, I actually really liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah, if I was going to go back heavy hauling, it would be a very difficult decision on what I would do.
Yeah.
Operator, drive. They both have their things.
Yeah. That, and I don't know, even piloting for me,
I'm a terrible pilot.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And that makes you really appreciate good pilots. I was saying, my load down, I had great pilots this last trip, and it was awesome because, they were bang on where they called the rails, where they called everything, and just did a really good job. And that's not always the case. And I'm a shitty pilot. I know that. Because I just start zoning out because I'm like, I'm not even driving the truck.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden your trucker's yelling at you, "What about this set of rails?"
Yeah.
And you're like, shit.
Oh, yeah. Or you're on the 4 lane and you're the guy at the back. And so then you're not calling anything up because you got the tunes on and you're staring at that oversized sign for 2 hours on Highway 43.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it behind a non-steerable trailer. I wouldn't want to be the guy in the back at all.
What are you doing?
Yeah, right? And it's funny, when my wife and I were working together, and she had to pilot a load out of Calgary after she piloted me out. And I was like, whatever, I'll come with you. And then we were standing in the safety meeting, and she made a joke, "Oh, well, he's going to pilot." And everybody there, it's heavy haul. They know who I was. I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll pilot." And the manager was there overseeing, right? Yeah. And after, he's like, "You're a terrible pilot." Because I know what needs to be done from being in the truck, right? But I just took too much advantage of, I got blinky lights, I can right foot down. So I was 90 up 52nd Ave in Calgary at 1 a.m.
Yeah, I just not good pilot.
No, and there's so many guys. I had a push truck driver, and he evolved, obviously, right? No longer a push truck driver, and he got in front, and we were bitching about pilot, or he was bitching about pilot. So I was like, one day you'll do it and you'll realize, right? And I didn't have that experience, but I was dating a pilot, so I got to hear all the stories, right? And then one day he got put in a pilot truck, and they went up the stretch from 16 up to Whitecourt on 32.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like, "I'm never gonna be a pilot again. I'm never gonna bitch about a pilot again." Whatever. You want me to slow down, I'll slow down. Yeah.
It's a thing, any job that's underappreciated. People need to go out and do it. It's for me, in hockey, as a hockey coach and as a hockey player, I used to yell at refs, bitch at refs, whatever. I was not good at all.
And then you reffed.
Then I had to ref. And so I reffed one game of ladies hockey. Like ladies hockey. Okay, not casting aspersions, but it's not like reffing a, midget AAA game. It's
No.
not like reffing junior or something like that. It's, pretty relaxed pace. I can definitely skate with them. Terrible. I was terrible. Like, they were yelling at me, and they had every right to. I was bad. And then I had to, we were doing evals once for midget, and somebody forgot to book refs. So they're like, well, you know what? Kegger, you go ref, and I think my buddy Tom, I think the two of us are going to just tag team like 2 official system, no 3s, right? I have never really paid attention to where the ref goes.
Oh, yeah, just not in the way.
Yeah, I'm playing.
Yeah.
Or I'm watching, or I'm yelling at him because he missed something, because in my mind, I watched it perfectly.
Yeah.
Why can't he see it? Just in the way all over the place. And then one point, I was skating, watching the play one way, and turned around, and a player was coming straight back at me the other way. So like a 17-year-old kid, and I'm, 220 at the time, not wearing any equipment. I didn't want to get blown up. So I just dropped my shoulder and laid the kid out.
Oh.
So then there's parents in the stands that are like pissed at me, like, oh yeah, just the worst ref in the world, right? And anyways, not good. So it really gave me some perspective. I don't bitch at refs anymore. I still yell at them on the TV because they can't hear me.
Yeah.
And those guys they're getting paid well. They should catch.
It's like yelling at car drivers with your windows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Makes you feel better.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Not a job I would want.
No. And then it's, or, DOT. That's not a job I want. That can't be an easy job.
No.
But a guy will bitch about it. But yeah, if you actually had to go do that job and deal with us every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be like, Jesus.
Especially me. Oh.
You wouldn't want to deal with you?
No, because there's been times where, especially like, heavy hauling, the DOT don't see it all the time, and then they think something's wrong. And then you end up arguing, and then they're sad because they're actually wrong. But
well, you'd be a dick as a DOT.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You'd be that guy that people would be like, you know what? If I ever catch that guy alone,
Oh yeah, but I think on the same hand,
truckers would want to lynch you,
right? I'd like to believe that I'd be reasonable, though, right?
You'd like to believe that.
Okay, you're over on your axle, but you're under your gross. All right, carry on. I get it, but there's a lot of these guys that I would just shit on. Yeah, because you should know better, right?
Yeah. No, it'd be an interesting thing. Thankfully, I don't think either one of us ever has to worry about that.
No, probably not. It's crossed my mind before.
Yeah.
Like after you get a ticket, you're like, oh man, I should go be a DOT so I can be one of the good ones. And then you sit back, you think about it exactly like that. Well, I probably wouldn't be that good, actually, would I?
By the time you went through all the schooling, you're like, you know what? I got this. I got my badge here or whatever. I can't even remember if they wear a badge. But
now they do because they're sheriffs.
That's true.
That's a whole other. Whole other podcast there.
Yeah, still working on that.
Yeah, like it's definitely past the date that we talked about.
True. Give me some time.
He's probably on a beach by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you want to wrap this up? I got some shit to do today.
Yeah, I got a truck to wash.
Oh, yeah. And don't wash your computer. Well, actually, your computer doesn't matter.
Why you always got to bring my computer up?
Because we just had well, actually, no, we didn't have a trouble-free one with mine, so never mind.
Yeah. I was actually looking at computers, and then I had to do a head gasket, so yeah.
I got you. It's all good. All good.
Okay.
Well,
that's that. We're done.
See you down the road.
You bet.
You've been listening to the Semi Crazy Podcast.
If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. You can find me on Instagram, Luke Dirk Phillips.
And you can find me on Instagram, Semi Crazy Inc., and on Facebook, Semi Crazy Truck Pictures. Thanks for listening.